Welcome back to Mosaic. I'm Rabbi Eric Weiss, and honored to be your host this morning. We're in the middle of a wonderful conversation with Danny Grossman, who is the CEO of the Jewish Community Federation of Marin, Sonoma, and San Francisco counties on the peninsula. Welcome back, Danny.
Thank you.
So, what about you more personally? What draws you to this work?
Well, I was born and raised here in this community, and I care deeply about it. I was very involved Jewishly in this community in a youth movement that took me to Israel for a year after high school. And when I came back after my first career in the diplomatic service, it was with the explicit objective of helping to build community, because I just think it's that important, and it's not something we should take for granted. So I looked at the Federation and other ideas in the Jewish world, and I said, there's only one organization that really looks out for the broadest interests of the community, and that's where I want to be. That's my interest. So that's why I made the decision to cross from, a career in the private sector, and before that, as I said, in government, into the foundation community building world.
And so the skill set that you bring to this particular work is from the world of diplomacy and then the world of business.
Correct.
So those are two really interesting amalgams.
Yes.
Together. So can you talk a little bit more about sort of that skill set in the Federation? Because certainly I think on the face of it, and not to be cute about it, that this kind of work involves business model thinking and diplomacy and a lot of other stuff in between.
It does.
Yeah.
It does, and even beyond that, my previous role after diplomacy was in starting a couple of companies, and those were companies that were very focused on product development and innovation. And the best thinking about product development and innovation is finding out the needs from the people who will enjoy those products, right? And then integrating that in a brainstorm design thinking approach, and then bringing the product to market. When we think about what the strategic needs of the community are, back to your question earlier, we think, well, let's ask them, what do they need? And then let's brainstorm the kinds of products that might make sense. So yes, the diplomatic skills are helpful in dealing with and between our agencies and with our donors. Yes, the practical business skills are helpful in management and strategy and others, but right now I'm really experiencing the value of 20 years of developing innovative product. So, and
yes, and faith-based communities tend to have products that are essentially human experience. So how, it's a big question, but how do we test human experience?
Wow. I think we observe it. The good news for us is that there is, especially here, as you said, in this incubator of interesting and new ideas, there are so many places to watch that human experience and understand what's powerful, understand what's meaningful, and where the trends are going. Not easy. The founders of IDEO talk about the secret sauce is in the observation of people's experience, but that is where the answer is, I think.
There's so much wisdom out there, and the Jewish Community Federation supports in part the Bay Area Jewish Healing Center, which we're thankful for. And one of the things that I find fascinating when we look at in our little niche of success is that when we look at our volunteers, curiosity and a sense of humor are two of the most significant personality characteristics that make for actually a successful volunteer. And that then can dictate a lot about the human experience of supporting a volunteer. And I'm wondering, I'm just wondering sort of in your work, are there human characteristics that you have just observed actually are the ones that help drive a vibrant community?
You said one of them. Curiosity, I think, is so powerful. And we tend to shut it down the older we get because we want to look like we know everything. So we don't express that curiosity, and we fail to learn, and we don't really hear what people are saying. Whether I'm speaking with a donor or speaking to an agency partner or speaking to someone, a member of the community, I try and summon that curiosity and not want to project the idea that I know everything.
That's so fascinating. So we have just a little bit of time left, but in a word or two, what's your hope for our common future?
So, I think we spring from magnificent values, and we've already, as a community, done extraordinary things, especially in this community, not just for ourselves, but beyond. And I hope that we continue to do that and find that path. And I encourage anyone listening to this program to get involved with us, with anyone else. The Federation will welcome your donation. They will welcome your arrival at our endowment fund with our philanthropic services. We'll welcome you as a volunteer if you want to come to us and say, we'd like to be involved in pro bono consulting.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day here on Mosaic, and thank you for joining this wonderful conversation with us and Danny Grossman.
As Stuart